Welcome. Today we're diving into some truly unsettling stories, real accounts from people who've experienced things that defy easy explanation. We're not just talking theories today. We're stepping right into these personal narratives, stories that might make you question the edges of our reality.
And that's really the power of these firsthand accounts, isn't it? They challenge our everyday understanding.
They really do. They tap into that deep curiosity, maybe even a bit of fear about what else might be out there. Our goal is to share these in a way that's, gripping, maybe a little chilling.
It's these direct experiences that often resonate the most, bypassing logical filters and hitting something more primal. They're glimpses into the unknown.
Exactly. Okay, so let's jump into the first one. This really shows how ordinary life can just shift.
Right.
Comes from telecoms engineer. This is about maybe a decade ago. He had this job installing like 20 phone lines. Seemed routine.
Okay.
The location was this old building. It was actually a nursing home back in the day, like the 1920s, now converted into offices.
So an old place with history, that's often a key element.
Definitely. So he needs to work in the cellar, and it's described as extremely poorly lit. Really dark down there.
Basements and cellars often feature heavily in these kinds of stories.
They do. And as he passes the receptionist on the way down, she says something that kind of stuck with him. She just casually says, nobody likes going down there, even for storage space.
Oof. Not exactly comforting, is it?
Not at all. So he goes down, sets up his temporary light, starts working, comes back the next day drilling pilot holes.
Right.
And suddenly he hears this voice. Startles him,
Yeah.
He turns around, and there's this man standing there wearing gray overalls. Introduces himself as Gordon.
Gordon.
Says he's the caretaker, been working there for over 30 years. And Graydon seems surprised anyone's even down there. Says nobody's been in the cellar for years.
Okay, 30 years. That immediately sounds interesting, given the building's history.
Right. Because the engineer remembers the receptionist saying the building was empty for years before it became offices.
Exactly.
And the cabling he's looking at, it clearly hasn't been touched in maybe 15, 20 years. So Gordon's timeline doesn't quite add up.
Doesn't seem to fit the physical evidence.
Not at all. But Gordon, he just says, apparently quite calmly, that things were always happening there.
That phrase, things were always happening there. It suggests a long history of odd occurrences, perhaps normalized by this entity.
It does. And it's more than just a feeling. Gordon talks, interacts. It's not just like a replay of something.
Precisely. That's a key distinction. It's not just a residual echo. His conversation, his awareness of the engineer points towards something more conscious, still tied to that place, maybe his old routine.
Yeah, like he's still on the job.
Almost existing in a loop, but an interactive one, still fulfilling his role. It really pushes the boundaries of how we think spirits might manifest or remain connected.
It gets stranger, too. They chat for maybe an hour. Then the engineer hears someone call hello from the stairwell.
Okay.
He expects Gordon to answer, maybe, but he turns back and Gordon's just gone. Vanished.
Just like that.
Poof. The engineer actually started doubting if he'd imagined the whole conversation.
I can imagine that sudden absence is disorienting.
Totally. But then, just as suddenly, Gordon reappears. Out of nowhere. Starts talking again like nothing happened.
Wow. Okay.
The engineer actually felt kind of sorry for him, Seemed like a lonely guy stuck down there. He even made a joke with him, trying to lighten the mood.
A very unusual interaction.
Very. Now, the final encounter is the really chilling part. The engineer's packing up, unplugging his temporary lights.
Right.
Gordon shows up again. Says he didn't realize the lights belonged to the engineer, or he wouldn't have touched them.
Touched them. Meaning Gordon had turned them on or off.
Well, the engineer thinks, that explains why the lights were on this morning when I got here.
Yeah.
Makes sense for a moment.
Okay.
But then it hits him. The cellar door.
Yeah.
He locked it when he left the day before.
Nah.
And it was still locked when he arrived that morning. Nobody else should have been able to get in.
So how were the lights on? How was Gordon there?
Exactly. So the engineer asks him, did you come down here last evening?
And Gordon says...
Gordon just replies like it's the most obvious thing ever. Yes, of course, I'm always here. It's where I'm needed.
I'm always here. It's where I'm needed. That's profoundly eerie. Tied to duty, even after death.
It's intense. So cut to a week later. Engineer's back for a follow-up. He happens to mention Gordon to the actual current caretaker.
And what was the reaction?
The caretaker goes pale, just drains of color.
Oh, wow.
He confirms it. The old caretaker from the nursing home days, years ago, his name was Gordon.
No way.
Yes, died on the job. And yes, he always wore overalls.
Confirmation, direct confirmation.
And the current caretaker.
Yeah.
He admits he's seen Gordon himself sometimes.
Yeah.
But nobody ever believed him.
That validation must have been something for both of them.
For the engineer, it was this moment of absolute certainty. He said, ghosts and spirits are real. Just like that.
It's a powerful story because it combines that interactive element with external verification. The persistence of Gordon's presence tied to his role. It really makes you wonder about consciousness and place.
It really does. What keeps someone anchored like that? Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From a spirit tied to a building to something maybe older, more primal.
Okay.
This next one is about that feeling of being an intruder in a place, even if it's technically your own land. Comes from someone living on a big 13-acre rural property. Woods all around.
Sounds idyllic, but sometimes those remote places have their own energy.
Exactly. This person grew up in remote areas, totally used to it, but this specific place. At night, it gave them this inexplicable feeling of terror.
Just a general feeling.
Yeah, like they were constantly trespassing on someone else's land, like the woods weren't theirs. They belonged to something else.
That's a very specific, unsettling feeling. Not just scared of the dark, but feeling unwelcome.
Precisely. So one night, late, around 11 p.m., they're walking their dog, just a normal routine. They hear this sound from a nearby barn, described it like someone imitating the hoot of an owl, like badly imitating it.
Not a real owl.
Didn't sound like it.
Oh.
They actually thought it was their dad messing around, so they called out, "Very funny, Dad." No reply. Silence.
Okay, a little weird.
Then the dog reacts. And this is key. The dog just freezes. Hair stands up all along its spine.
The animal reaction, often very telling.
Totally. And it lets out this low, menacing growl, which was completely out of character. This dog was apparently super friendly, loved everyone, people, animals, especially their dad.
So this wasn't a reaction to a familiar person or even a typical animal. The dog sensed a threat, a real threat.
That's what it felt like. Animals often seem tuned into things we just don't perceive, don't they?
Absolutely. Their senses operate on different levels. That immediate visceral fear response in an otherwise friendly animal, it strongly suggests something genuinely anomalous was present, something unseen but definitely felt.
And then it got visual. At the edge of the property's floodlights, where the light usually just fades into the trees, it just stopped, like hitting a solid wall of black. The light didn't fade, it just ended abruptly.
Whoa, a visual distortion like that, that's high strangeness territory.
Right. And immediately after they noticed this wall of darkness, that same fake owl hoot comes again.
From where?
From only a few feet away, just on the other side of the darkness.
Oh no, way too close.
Way too close. Pure primal fear kicks in. The dog just jumps, starts barking like crazy, putting itself between the listener and whatever was making that sound.
Protective instinct. It knew something was wrong.
Definitely. The listener just scooped up the dog, didn't even think, just ran flat out towards the house.
Don't blame him.
As they're running, they hear the sound again, behind them. But this time, there was a change, a strange warble to it, almost like laughter.
Laughter, that adds a layer of malevolence.
Wow.
Mocking, almost.
Incredibly creepy. They got inside, locked everything. The next morning, they checked the barn where the first sound came from. The doors were partially broken, forced open like something tried to get in or out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. No footprints. Nothing in the sawdust or dirt around the barn. No sign of anyone or anything.
Forced entry, but no tracks. That deepens the mystery. It suggests something not bound by normal physical interaction.
Totally. An unwelcome guest that left no trace except terror and broken wood.
The wall of black, the mimicking sound, the animal reaction, the physical damage without evidence. It points towards something potentially non-human, maybe elemental or interdimensional, other than a typical ghost. Something ancient tied to the land itself.
Makes you shiver thinking about what might be out there in the deep woods.
Okay.
Let's move from the wild outdoors to inside a house. A story about skepticism meeting, well, reality.
The skeptic's journey. Always fascinating.
This was from a guy who always considered himself a total skeptic. His wife would sometimes talk about growing up in a haunted house, but he always just brushed it off.
Yeah.
You know, weird old house noises, that kind of thing.
Common reaction. We try to rationalize.
Absolutely. So circumstances lead them to stay at his wife's great aunt's old house for 4 nights after a funeral.
Okay, emotionally charged time, old house. Setting the scene.
Right. And his wife and her aunt are casually talking, saying maybe the great aunt who just passed will, join the other ghosts already in the house.
Just matter-of-factly mentioning the resident ghosts.
Yep.
Yeah.
He still thinks it's just talk, doesn't take it seriously at all. Until the first night. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and he clearly sees someone standing in the corner of the room.
Whoa, okay, that's direct.
He thinks it's his wife. Maybe she got up. So he speaks to the figure. His wife, who's actually asleep right next to him in bed, wakes up from him speaking. And she just says super casually, yeah, don't worry about it.
That acknowledges the figure in the corner and tells him not to worry.
Exactly. He grabs his phone, turns on the light. Nothing there. Corner's empty.
Vanished with the light. Classic.
And his wife just explains, like it's nothing. Oh, yeah, it's common to see shadowy people in the night here. Don't worry, they don't do anything.
That casual acceptance is almost as unsettling as the figure itself.
It really is.
It frames the experience, doesn't it? This could be what some call a residual haunting. Those shadowy figures might be like energetic recordings playing out, passive, but the family's reaction normalizes it, setting the stage for potentially more interactive phenomena later on. It primes the skeptic.
And things definitely escalated.
Yeah.
By the third night, he's being kept awake for hours. Constant sound of footsteps, pacing, all through the house.
Audible phenomena.
Again, his wife just says, oh yeah, that's normal. He actually gets up, searches the entire house inside, even checks outside. Nothing. No one.
He's actively trying to debunk it, find a source.
Trying his best. But then comes the moment his skepticism completely dissolves. He's in the lounge area.
Right.
Hears clear footsteps coming from the kitchen. He calls out, thinking maybe someone else is there. His wife's aunt is there with him in the lounge. She confirms, yep, heard them. And just like his wife says, it's normal, don't worry.
The whole family is just used to it.
Completely. But then right after that, both of them clearly hear a drawer opening in the kitchen. Like, opened.
Okay, so that's specific, not just footsteps. An object interaction.
Exactly. They immediately go into the kitchen, and the cutlery drawer, wide open.
And nobody's in there.
Nobody. Kitchen's empty, and there's no way someone could have opened it and left without walking right past them in the lounge. Impossible.
Right. That physical interaction, the drawer opening with no visible cause, that's often the turning point. It moves beyond ambiguous sounds or shadows.
Definitely. And the aunt's reaction, she just walks over, closes the drawer, slightly annoyed, muttering something like, honestly, the ghosts are always leaving things open.
Mildly annoyed. Not terrified, just inconvenienced by the ghosts. That is something else. And that's the kind of event that breaks through skepticism. It's specific, physical, and defies any simple, rational explanation like old house noises. It's undeniable interaction.
That was it for him. He said flat out, I could not come up with a way to explain that away. His own senses, plus the whole family just accepting it, convinced him. He said everyone who ever stayed in that house for any length of time believed it was haunted. His skepticism just couldn't hold up.
It takes that direct, inexplicable experience sometimes.
It really does. Okay, moving to something quite different now. This next one is deeply moving, actually. Shared by a hospice nurse.
Hospice settings often have these profound stories. End-of-life experiences can be very unique.
They can. This involves two patients. There was an ailing son, his name was Claude, and then his mother, Hilda, who was 102 years old.
102, wow.
Yeah. She had Alzheimer's, was described as pleasantly confused most of the time. The nurse thought Hilda was relatively stable, physically, and would likely live several more months, probably outliving her very ill son, Claude.
Okay, so that's the medical expectation.
Right. So the nurse is making her last visit to Hilda. Hilda seems okay, pretty much her usual self, good spirits for her condition. But then Hilda says something really puzzling. She says, my son said he was meeting up at the gate today at 2. He's taking me home. I won't be here.
Wow. Okay. Meeting at the gate. That's evocative language.
It is. But the nurse, knowing Hilda's son Claude was critically ill and couldn't possibly be meeting her, and knowing Hilda was often confused.
Assumed it was part of the Alzheimer's confusion.
Exactly. Especially because Hilda also mentioned a street name the nurse didn't recognize, 145th Street. It just seemed like rambling.
These moments are so fascinating, though. Hospice workers often report these instances of sudden clarity or communication with unseen presences near the end. Patients talking about deceased relatives coming for them or describing journeys.
Really?
Yes, it's a documented phenomenon, sometimes called end-of-life experiences or deathbed visions. It hints at something beyond the physical decline.
Well, what happened next was shocking. About 2 hours after the nurse left Hilda, around 2:15 p.m., the nurse gets a call. Hilda had passed away. Suddenly, peacefully, just about 30 minutes after the nurse had left her.
Passed away right around the time she said she'd be leaving.
Exactly. The nurse was stunned. She was usually very good at predicting when patients were near the end, but this was completely unexpected. Hilda had seemed stable.
Took her completely by surprise.
Totally. So later, the nurse is talking to Joanne, who was Claude's wife, sick son's wife.
Okay.
The nurse mentions Hilda's comment, still thinking it was just confusion. Says something like, your mother-in-law said the strangest thing about her son meeting her at the gate at 2 p.m. today, mentioned 145th Street.
Yeah.
Still dismissing it.
Right, relaying it as part of the confusion.
But Joanne stops her and clarifies something astonishing.
What was it?
Joanne says, no, she wasn't talking about Claude.
Not her sick son.
No. Joanne explained she was talking about her other son, Claude's brother.
She had another son.
Yes. And Joanne says he lived on 145th Street in LC. He died about 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Joanne finishes with, and it sounds like he was meeting her at the gate today at 2 to bring her home.
Wow. Wow. The specific time, the specific street matching the deceased brother.
The nurse said she was just shocked, speechless, completely floored.
That's a perfect example of what researchers call veridical information in these experiences. Details the dying person seemingly couldn't know or that seem nonsensical turn out to be accurate and meaningful, verifiable by others.
It gives you goosebumps, that image of her other son waiting at the gate at the appointed time.
It speaks to a connection, a transition being met that transcends our understanding of time, space, and even cognitive decline like Alzheimer's. It's profoundly moving.
It really is. A meeting beyond our world. Okay, one final story. This one is intensely personal and, well, very strange. A phone call.
Okay.
From somewhere unexpected. The listener had fallen asleep on their mom's couch. TV was on low in the background. Their cell phone next to them vibrates. Wakes them up a bit. They look at the screen. Incoming call.
From?
An unknown contact. The name displayed was just Peanut.
Peanut. Okay, weird contact name.
Very. They didn't recognize it at all. But still half asleep, they answered it. They hear this voice. It's full of static, crackly, but underneath the static, it's unmistakably their father's voice.
Their dad. Was he alive?
That's the thing.
No.
But the voice was exactly his, using his typical greeting, just, hey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the voice, their dad's voice, explains, my phone isn't working. I've been trying to call everyone. I just wanted to tell you I love you and I'm safe.
I love you and I'm safe. That's a powerful message to receive like that.
Incredibly. Then the dad's voice tries to give more detail. Says, I'm in room 4, followed by a 3-digit number starting with 4, like 4 something.
Room 400 something.
Yeah.
Trying to give a location.
Seems like it. But right then, the static got really bad and the TV in the room suddenly seemed way too loud, drowning it out, couldn't make out the full number.
Interference, just as specific information is being relayed. That's common in these accounts too.
The voice just repeated, I love you and I'm safe, and then faded out with the static.
This sounds very much like phenomena studied under instrumental trance communication, or ITC, or even electronic voice phenomena, EVP.
Right, like spirits using devices.
Exactly. The idea is that entities might manipulate electronic noise, static, or devices to form voices or communicate messages. The characteristics here, the static, the clear but distorted voice, the specific message, the attempt at conveying information like a room number, even the interference from the TV sound fit the patterns reported in ITC cases.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But here's maybe the strangest part.
Go on.
The listener fully wakes up moments later, sitting on the couch, and the exact same infomercial that seemed too loud during the call is playing on the TV. Same scene, same volume.
So the background environment matched perfectly between the call state and waking reality.
Perfectly. It wasn't just a dream. It felt completely real. Blended seamlessly with waking life. They were left just thinking, what just happened?
That blurring of lines between dream, liminal state, and waking reality is key. It suggests it wasn't just a subconscious creation, but potentially an external communication received in that half-asleep state.
And the name Peanut. Nobody in the family knew who that could be. No connection to their dad. No old nicknames anyone could remember. Just Peanut.
Another layer of mystery. An unknown caller ID delivering a deeply personal message from the deceased. It's deeply unsettling, but also perhaps comforting in its message of safety.
It really leaves you wondering, what forces are out there? What connections persist? These stories, all of them, they push us right up against the edge of what we think we know.
They absolutely do. They remind us that personal experience can sometimes reveal dimensions of reality that science hasn't yet grasped.
They're more than just spooky tales. They're invitations to consider possibilities just beyond our sight. What unseen forces might be nearby, trying to connect, or maybe just watching?
다 다녀오이테. 메타타 끔 자네 거 만고자. 디아네 운크타 저마게 하고 작은 그 작거 봐야. 롱그 담게 바고 바간 상텔라세죠. So इसको भाग देखो मैं जे को दो को horror drugs सांतागन को बिको.
Do you like mysterious stories like this? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Horror Docx channel so you don't miss exciting stories next time.
Bố em cướp địch nhiều bát nhiều. Nhiều con thì kami tak ground again. The pime chari sayo. Ka bang tu big bay de pa ko manaya ka tu man ka pala reng le hote. Jab ki ko na cha on kan ko wa. Holo ko ko cham ko sat. Mas ko tu ka yem. Bakit ba ba ba? Kung hotel ada ba wetcha buka karabana na ka.
Naging bonjan hamsi your some buabang. Ako some pretty tuna ta anaki ju boob se ju bongku.
Yeah. May tonight be a peaceful night for you. Or perhaps not.
Jipara kui.
Night.